All right, in this video, I'm gonna be breaking down how I book 2 qualified sales calls per day for my high ticket offer with this simple 5-step system. Right now, this isn't just me making some bullshit marketing claim, right? This isn't me claiming that if you follow this 5-step system, you're gonna be rich, right? That's not what I'm claiming. However, what I am claiming is that you can implement this 5-step system into your business, into your paid advertising campaigns the right way, you're gonna make a lot more money, right? That is what I'm claiming. And I'm claiming this, okay, because I have proof, right? I'm not just some bullshit guy on the internet just making some claim that he doesn't actually follow or do himself, right? This is my sales calendar from last month. Okay, you can see over the last 30 days, right? I filtered this by my implementation call calendar. I had 61 created events. It says around 42 of them were completed. This number is likely closer to 50 or 55 because I was on vacation last month and I had to move a lot of people on my calendar to my closer's calendar, right? But around 60 created events, around 50 to 55 of them you can say were completed. Okay, 2 rescheduled, 21 canceled again because I had to cancel a lot of events. But there's proof that system works, right? And this is for an expensive high ticket offer, right? And this also is not for me spending $500 to $1,000 a day in ads, right? This is me spending quite literally $75 to $100 a day in ads, right? I'm not even spending that much money on ads. But still, okay, with this system, I'm able to increase the amount of calls I'm getting with such little ad spend, okay? And I'm able to do this, okay? Because this system does these 3 things, right? Number one, it increases your DPL, which is your dollar per lead, okay? Which essentially means that if you're currently paying for leads right now, right? Which if you're running ads, that's what you're doing, right? You're paying for leads. It's gonna make each of your leads worth more, right? So whenever someone opts in and essentially becomes a lead and gives you their information, that lead is now gonna be worth more, okay? This is an efficiency play, right? Because we know that as you increase ad spend, right, and as time goes on, advertising and getting eyeballs is only going to get more expensive. Because so you need to figure out a way where instead of just increasing your ad spend, how can you make the leads you currently have worth more, right? So it's an efficiency play, number one. Number two, essentially, it kind of piggybacks on the easiest way to make more money with your business, right? The easiest way to make more money with your business, okay, is to make more offers in the day, right? Because essentially when you're making an offer, you increase the likelihood of someone saying yes, right? The more offers you make, the more yeses you're going to get, right? And that's what number 2 does. Because to make an offer, okay, you need 2 things. Well, really 3 things. Number 1, you need someone to book onto your calendar, right? Number 2, you need them to actually show up. Okay, number 3, they need to actually be qualified. Because you're not going to make an offer to someone who's not qualified, right? So it's going to increase the amount of qualified prospects that actually show up to your calls, right? So allowing you to make more offers, because when you make more offers, you'll have more people that say yes, and more people say yes, you'll make more money, right? And number 3, it's also going to increase your close rate, okay? Because this system, right, it's going to give a positive interaction to your leads before the sales calendar, right? It's almost going to pre-sell them on the fact that your solution, that your offer, that your company is the right solution for them, right? It's the right thing to go forward and pay you money and move forward with your product or service. So here's the system, okay? It's a really, really simple system. All it is, okay, is it's an ad, okay? Going to an opt-in page where they give you their information, right, to a VSL page, and that VSL essentially sells them on booking a call, right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hyper-focus on this on the blue thing right here. It's the setting system, right? Because essentially what this setting system does, okay, is it allows you to take all of the leads that opt in, okay, and essentially capitalize on almost all of them and allow you to book in a bunch of people on your calendar, right? Because most people understand the basic VSL call booking funnel, right? Where you run an ad and then you have an opt-in that gets their information, then you have a VSL, then you have a call bookings. Then you have a call booking page, right? However, if you can actually capitalize on all of the leads that you have, and we call the war zone, right? If you can capitalize on all these war zone leads who don't actually go through the funnel itself, you'll be able to get a lot more people booked on your calendar, right? And implementing this process, you'll see if you're doing this the right way, right? You'll have a $3 to $6 cost per click, right? You'll have a $15 to $50 cost per lead, right? Depending on your ticket price, depending on how big your total addressable market is, right? If you have the VSL, you'll have a 30% conversion rate there, and you'll get around $100 to $200 per call, right? And if you're selling an offer that's really strong, like you should be, you can make $3, $6, $10,000 on just one sales call, right? But this setting system allows you to increase the volume and essentially do these 3 things, right? Increase your volume, increase your efficiency, and also increase your close rate as well, right? So this is what we're going to hyper focus on. We're going to hyper focus on the setting system because, right, and this is something that Serge Guattari's team actually did research on. but only around 10% of all prospects. Okay, and only around 10% of all leads that opt in are actually going to go through the funnel and self-book, right? Only around 10%. But, okay, if you can have a setting system, right, where you're dialing those leads, you'll be able to go from around 10% of all people going through, or 10% of all leads going through, rather, to around 30 to 40% of all leads going through, right? So almost 3 to 4xing your call booking rate. That's the power of this setting system, and that's what I'm going to be breaking down in this video. So to understand how to actually make the setting system work as effectively as possible, you need to understand the 8 leading indicators to success here, right? And these are leading indicators that are essentially going to allow you to book 2 to 3 sales calls by simply implementing the setting system, right? Number 1, you need clean data, okay? What this means is you need people that are actually giving you their real information, right? Because if someone's giving you a fake phone number, a fake name, when you go to call them, number 1, it's going to be a wrong number, okay? And number 2, if they're telling you fake information, the wrong name, you're not going to know how to address them, right? So one thing that we actually implemented, right, that allowed us to increase the number of clean data we had, okay, was on our lead form, right? And maybe you do your lead form on your landing page. I just do mine through Facebook lead form, right? Telling them that we're going to text the information that they want, right? Because they've seen the ad, right? If you're running a VSL funnel, right, which you should be, then essentially you're telling them that you have a free training of them, right? It's going to give them more information about how they can achieve X result, right? Or get information about Y offer, right? If you tell them you're going to text them about it, the chances that they actually give you their real information is going to be a lot more likely, right? A lot more likely. So just by doing that, you're going to have a lot more people giving you clean data. Okay, number 2, you actually need volume, right? You need a large amount of leads coming in, okay? Because let's say that you're only getting 1 lead per day. There's no way you're going to be able to book 2 to 3 sales calls per day with 1 lead, right? You just physically can't, okay? However, once you start getting some of these other metrics, right? Once you can actually get a $3 to $6 cost per click, right? Once you can get a $15 to $50 cost per lead, and you can get all of these, and once you can get like a 30% conversion rate, right? Once you have enough data to actually facilitate these numbers, then you know you have a good ad system that works. So all you need to do at that point is just increase your ad spend, right? If you're only getting 1 lead per day with, I don't know, like $10 a day in ad spend, right? Then you know you have a good system, right? You know you have a good system. You just need to increase the amount of money that you're putting in to actually get the leads necessary, okay? Number 3, speed to lead, right? And this is extremely important, okay? Because when you're dialing these leads, right? When you're having setters dial these leads who opt in but don't book by themselves, well, you need a setter that's actually calling them, okay, as soon as they come in, right? So we have a rule on our team, okay, that essentially states that whenever a lead opts into a Facebook lead form and they're notified, they have to be calling that lead within 3 minutes, right? Speed to lead is paramount, right? Because I'll have clients that essentially will, I'll like onboard a new client, right? And they'll have a similar setting system to this, right? And they'll be like, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm only booking like, you know, like a call every 2 or 3 days. And I'll ask them, okay, well, your setters, your triagers, right? How soon after leads opt in are they calling? Oh, they're like, oh yeah, we'll call them within 24 hours. Well, I mean, that's your issue, right? That's your issue. Do you really think that these prospects, they can barely remember what they had for breakfast that morning, right? Let alone an ad from a stranger that they opted in for 24 hours ago, right? You need to be dialing these leads when they actually opt into the lead form, right? Because think about it, right? If you're scrolling to your phone, right, and you see an ad that you resonate with and you decide to give their information to learn more, okay, and there's some sort of VSL on there, okay, chances are that if you're dialing within 3 minutes, that lead's gonna still be on their phone. They're not gonna have put their phone down doing something else, right? They're gonna be watching the VSL maybe, right? But they're gonna be on their phone. So dialing that lead when they're on their phone, okay, and when they're actually in learn mode, where they want to learn more about how they can make more money, it's a lot more likely that you're gonna actually be able to, number 1, contact the lead, and number 2, get that lead actually booked on, versus calling them 24 hours later with some random number, some random person they don't know, okay? Another thing, okay, you need to be double and triple dialing, right? The way iPhones work nowadays, if these prospects are on Do Not Disturb, calling them once isn't even gonna go through, right? Which is why you need a double dial, right? So you can actually bypass Do Not Disturb and take even a step further, which is triple dialing, right? Because let's say a prospect's on Do Not Disturb, right? If you call them once, they're not gonna see it. If you call them twice, they're gonna see it, but they're gonna think it's just some random scammer, they're gonna click red. But when you call them again with the same exact number, right? They're gonna be like, okay, well, this is very intentional. Like, what does he want? Okay, and they'll pick up the phone reluctantly most of the time, but they will pick up, and that will allow you to start a conversation with them, right? You want to double and even triple dial. Okay. Number 5, SMS, right? You want as many touch points as possible. Okay, a lot of people just don't want to pick up the phone from a number they don't know, right? However, if you give them a message and say, hey, I'm James from Cheyenne Meradia's team, right? Or I'm James from whoever's team, right? The name of the person your name, right? And I saw that you opted in for one of our ads. Would you have time to talk? Right? Hitting them through text is a lot lower barrier of entry to lower barrier of entry for conversation, right? I think Alex Hormozy said that text message has like a 95% open rate, right? People read their texts. So if someone just happens to not pick up your phone, but you text them and it's a good quality text, it's very likely that you'll be able to get a conversation out of them. Okay. Number 6 is persistent follow-ups, right? You need to be following up. Money is made in the follow-ups. So on our team, okay, the process we have is we're dialing leads, okay, that are essentially in the war zone, we like to call it, right? Which are leads who have opted in but haven't booked on the calendar. We're calling those leads every day for 11 days, right? Every 24 hours for 11 days after the initial 24 hours, where we're calling them 3 times a day, right? So persistently following up, right? And you'll find that people will start recognizing your number. They'll be like, okay, wait, this number's been calling me every day for the past week. What do they want, right? Which then, once you can start a conversation with them, right, you'll allow your setter to essentially restate the offer, right, start a conversation with them, and essentially qualify them and get them booked on the calendar, right? Persistent follow-ups is extremely important. With that being said, what's also important is lead quality, right? And this essentially has to do with your ad, okay? If your ad is bringing in a lot of low-quality leads, well, you're not going to want to book them on your calendar, right? You're not going to want to have your setters book on prospects who aren't qualified, right? Because you're not going to be able to make an offer to them, and when you're not making an offer to them, you have no chance of making money, right? So your lead quality really stems from your ad and the creative itself, right? You want an ad that actually calls out your ideal customer, that actually resonates with them, that actually gets the right people with the right targeting to book on to your sales calendar, right? Number 8 is the script. It's the triaging and setting script itself, because you need your setters actually saying the right things and actually increasing the likelihood that they book on, not decreasing the likelihood that they book on. And actually increasing the likelihood that they close, not decreasing the likelihood that they close, right? So these are the 8 keys to booking 2 to 3 sales calls per day. So what I'll do in this video is I'll actually break down my team, right? My setting team's script, right? And what they're actually saying to call these leads so that you can implement it into your own sales team and have your setters, follow a very similar process. But I'll start, okay, by actually just going from a high level and telling you what the setting call is actually about, right? Because you can follow my script to a T if you want, but if you want to make your own, just understand these 4 things. Okay, the entire setting call is simply, number 1, finding the pain, right? Finding where it hurts. Because if a prospect has opted into your ad, then clearly there's some sort of pain there, right? So finding their current situation, finding where it actually hurts, right? Number 2, finding the goal, right? Because obviously if they're in a lot of pain, right, but they don't want to change it, they would never opted into the ad, right? There's clearly pain, but it's something that's urgent enough for them to want to fix it and learn more about it, right? So finding their goal, figuring out what it is that they actually want, right? Number 3, finding if they can invest, okay? You can have a lot of pain, you can have a goal, right? But in terms of your business, there's no point in speaking to people who don't have the funds to actually pay you, right? And number 4 is booking the call. If these 3 things check off, it's getting them actually booked on the call and using some sales skills to convince them, right? It's selling the sales call, okay? And a key point I'll make here, because a lot of, when I work with a lot of my clients' sales teams, okay, they'll spend a lot of time, okay, talking to unqualified leads, right? They're essentially afraid to ask the hard questions, right? You want your setter to be financially qualifying prospects and looking for reasons why they deserve to become part of your business, right? Your setters cannot be afraid to turn prospects down and say it's not a good fit. They need to be asking the hard questions. They need to be disqualifying prospects fast, right? They can't be wasting time with a bunch of unqualified prospects, because if they are, right, it's very likely that you're going to have leads that are coming in while they're wasting their time calling and dialing unqualified prospects, right? If they have no money, have your triagers, right? Have your setters move on and do not book them on, right? Because quite frankly, the income of your triager, okay, and the income of you as well, is tied to the quality of people set on your calendar, right? That's the truth of the matter. how many calls you book, if they're unqualified, doesn't matter, right? They need to be qualified calls because that's what will actually allow you to make more offers. That's what will actually allow you to make more money. Okay, so with that said, here's our script, right? And this is the script that my setting team uses, right? So they'll dial a lead and they'll go, yeah, hi, is this James? Oh, hey, James, it's just Jackson from Cheyenne Meradia's team. I saw you clicked on one of our ads wanting some more info about adding an additional 50K in new revenue to your business in the next 90 days. Is that still the case? Right, so upward inflection, right? Like truly curious, right? And if you're curious, this is actually my offer, right? I'll add an additional 50K in new revenue to your business in the next 90 days. Guaranteed or you don't pay. That's my offer, by the way, if you're interested. But truly, like reminding them of the offer, right? Reminding them of the offer that you made in your ad, right? Having an upwards inflection, being truly curious if they still want to learn more information about it, right? And because they've just clicked on the ad, right? 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a yes, okay? Then you frame the call, okay? This is super important, right? You need to be framing what the rest of the call is actually going to look like and why you're calling them in the first place, right? So something like, awesome, man. Awesome. So yeah, James, the team has us reach out because, everyone comes to us in a different situation, right? Some are experienced online business owners. Some are just getting their wings off the ground. Some are just wanting to add another lead flow stream. And I would just like to learn a little bit more about your situation just to see if we can help. And if not, maybe just point you in the right direction. Do you have a few minutes right now or did I catch you at a weird time? Right? So kind of telling them that, hey, I'm just reaching out because, everyone comes to some different situation. I want to truly understand where you are currently. And if I feel like I could maybe help you, right? I'd love to, learn more about you to see if I can help. And if not, just maybe point you in the right direction, right? Tell you kind of what you need to be doing, right? They're not going to say no to this. They're very rarely going to object to them telling you a little bit more about the situation to see if you can help them. And if not, then pointing them in the right direction, right? It's a very low investment ask you're making, okay? And then you're just asking if you call them at a weird time, okay? If the answer is no, right? Or if they don't have a few minutes right now, rather, okay? Then you can simply say something like, no worries, so when would be a good time? Later today or tomorrow, right? And you'd have your setter essentially schedule a time that works within their schedule, right? And you'll actually also have them text the prospect, reminding them of the call that's coming up, right? So I'm like, hey, James, looking forward to speaking to you at this time. And then 30 minutes before the call, before the next call, asking if they're still good for a 5 to 10 minute chat at that time, right? If they say yes, say awesome and continue with the conversation. So what's next is situation questions, right? It's figuring out where that prospect is currently in their current business infrastructure, in their business life cycle, right? It's figuring out what their current business actually is, right? So something like, all right, awesome, man. So talk to me. Tell me about your current business, bro. What do you do? Gotcha. Okay, so you're a marketing agency for real estate. Okay, for sure, man. So I guess what's your current approach for client acquisition? How would you go about turning, let's say, a complete stranger into a paying client? Okay, gotcha. So you're just doing cold outreach right now. Understood. And how's that going for you right now, man? Yeah, it's rough, man. I hear you, right? For sure. And if you don't mind me asking, how much are you currently doing right now? Okay, gotcha. Around 5K a month, for sure. Gotcha, for sure, man. Right? So just asking and figuring out kind of where they are currently with their business, like what their current approach for client acquisition is, okay? And kind of seeing if there's actually a gap there that you can help fulfill so you can actually help them. And you can also have them ask a little bit about their goal as well, right? So something like, gotcha, man. And, I guess what would you say would be a good indicator of success for you, let's say 3 months down the road, like financially? Okay, gotcha. So you'd like to be at 20K a month. Awesome, man, for sure, right? So just really figuring out where they are currently, what they're currently doing, right? What type of business they're in, what type of market they're in, and kind of where they want to be down the road, right? And see if, because someone might be at 5K a month, right? But they just don't want to scale. They're happy at 5K a month, right? That's obviously very rare, okay? But you want them to say what their goal is, right? And you want them to essentially tell you that they're not where they want to be right now with their business, right? Now you can also have secondary probing questions, right? And it's important that you don't use too many of these, right? Just use 1 or 2 depending on the context. A lot of times you're going to have prospects, okay, that are giving you plenty of information, right? That they're really opening up, they're giving you a lot to work with, right? But sometimes you're gonna have prospects that are giving you very short, succinct answers, right? But you want them to kind of open up, and you can use some of these, probing questions to get more information out of them, right? So, yeah, where are you currently getting most of your clients, man? Or what's your ticket price for your offer, right? Asking if they're doing business full time, right? And then, maybe if a big part of your delivery fulfillment is running ads for your clients, right? You can ask them if they've tried paid marketing for client acquisition, right? A bunch of different things that you can do there, okay? Now, sometimes, okay, a lot of times rather, you're going to figure out kind of where your prospect is financially just from the situation questions, okay? Sometimes, however, when you're working with a prospect that, maybe isn't opening up, or maybe you're kind of having a little bit of trouble figuring out exactly how much money they have, okay, you're gonna need to do a financial qualifier. So let me show you how you can do that. So you actually have two different avenues to do this, right? You have a direct financial qualifier and you have an indirect financial qualifier, okay? And you wanna use the direct one when you're working with a prospect, that's pretty chill. Like he's opening up, they're giving you a lot of information to work with, they're not giving you, short, like 2-3 word answers, right? When they're really opening up and you can tell that they're okay with having this type of conversation, you can just very directly ask them, right? Yeah, man, so do you have any funds that you could put towards potentially partnering with the company to help you get to that 20K a month that you're looking to get to, right? Repeat their desired situation, right? Don't say what you think their desired situation should be. Let them tell you and you use that, right? And they'll be like, yeah, I have a little bit. Or sometimes they'll ask like, okay, well, how much do I need to have, right? You can say, well, yeah, realistically, you should have anywhere between 2 to 8K. Does that fit in your budget, right? Maybe you have a payment plan, right? Maybe your lower end, you'll take like 2K a month for 4 months, right? Or maybe you'll take 8K one time, right? You need to kind of arrange there, right? And if they have anywhere from 2 to 8K, they'll say yes. If not, then move on, right? Now, for some prospects, okay, you're going to have people that are a little more, I guess, careful with what they're saying, right? And you kind of need to pry it out of them, but not do it so directly, right? So you can ask something like this, right? Yeah, for sure, man. So for this to be worth your time, let's just say we could come into your business, right? And install a client acquisition system for you that's able to book you 20 to 30 qualified calls a month. And also a sales process that ensures those leads show up to the sales call, educated and ready to buy. I guess what would a good indicator of success be for your business financially in, let's say, the next 90 days? Gotcha. So with that system, you'd want to 2x your business? Sweet. And how much money could you potentially put towards partnering with the company to get you those qualified leads and high ticket clients if the result was guaranteed, right, to yield you that result? Okay, gotcha, for sure. Right? So telling them like, okay, potentially, right? Like if we come into your business, right, and we could do all these things for you and get you to the desired situation that you stated, again, this should really be your prospect's desired situation, right? Asking how much money they have to invest if that result was almost guaranteed. Okay, and then it's asking problem awareness questions, right? So you figured out kind of where they are currently, their current situation. Now you want to figure out what problems they're facing. Okay, so asking questions like, so with your current client acquisition, how would you say it's going for you, man? Okay, and are you facing any challenges with it? Gotcha, gotcha. And I guess what would you say is the reason you haven't been able to scale to that 20K a month you're looking to get to, right? Really prying and figuring out what exactly they're struggling with, right? Because you figured out their current situation, you figured out how they're currently doing things, okay? In the problem awareness section, you want to figure out where the pain actually is. Like, what is it that they're really, really struggling with, okay? Right? And you want to probe. You want to ask, like, okay, well, yeah, what do you mean by your triagers aren't calling leads in time? Or why do you think that is? Or what do you mean your content isn't doing very good? Right? Whatever exactly your delivery fulfillment is, right? You want to really pry and get as much information and get them to open up about as much pain as possible, right? Because when your prospects can open up about a lot of the pain that they have, you have more ammunition to use in the actual booking sequence, right? So here's how the booking sequence works, okay? So after you've opened up, after you've, really gotten them to open up and you've kind of had a conversation with them about a lot of the problems that they're having, okay? You then want to go into booking them on, right? So here's how that looks. Okay, awesome, James. Thanks for sharing, man. So yeah, this is really why we exist, right? It's to help people like yourself who are making around 5K a month, right? Who, have found some success with their business, but are just looking to scale to the next level, right? Get a proven client acquisition system so they can close more deals and scale the business of their dreams. So the next steps from here is we could let you schedule a little bit of a longer call with an advisor just to go deeper into the specific strategy of your business and audit your current infrastructure so you can get to that 20 to 25K a month that you're looking to get to in just the next couple of months. Would that be appropriate? Or where would you like to go from here? Right? So kind of relaying, right? Relaying that the problems that they've described is why you as a business exist, right? And it's relaying that we help people exactly like what they've described, right? It's very important that you're relaying back in the booking sequence that you help people exactly like them get to the result that they want exactly as well, right? If you're saying you help people that are making around 25K a month when they're only making 2 to 3K a month, right? Then you're never actually gonna make them believe that you can help them, right? Because they'll think, oh, well, they're only helping crazy businesses right now. I'm not even at that level yet. Or if you're saying, yeah, we help people that are making 0, right? Scale to 10, right? But they're actually at 10 already. They just want to scale to 50. Again, it doesn't really resonate with them. Okay. And it's making sure that you're tying back into their desired situation as well, right? Not just their current situation. Okay. And it's also putting the ball in their court. It's asking what they want to do, where they want to go from here, right? Or if getting on the next call would be appropriate. Okay. Now, if you've done the rest of the call right, you should get a yes. Okay. Still, though, a lot of times you might get a no. Okay. If you got a no, then you need to be reviewing these calls with your triager, right? Because somewhere, okay, your triager lost trust, didn't listen, or said something stupid to make the prospect see them as low status, not credible, right? When that happens, okay, you want to not objection handle too much. You just want to ask them, okay, and if you don't mind me asking, man, why not, right? If your prospect can, okay, if your setter can, then you want them to handle the objection and book the prospect, okay? However, what you don't want to do, okay, is force book on a prospect, okay? You don't want to just book on a prospect by shoving it down their throat because guess what? They're not going to show up and they're going to waste your time, right? So just ask them why not, okay? If it's something that you can very easily handle as an objection, right, then handle it, right? But if it's something that if your triager can tell that this prospect is very unlikely that they're actually going to close, do not book them on because you're going to end up wasting your valuable selling time, right? If they say yes, though, which if you've done the rest of the call right, you will get a majority of, okay? Awesome, man. So are you Central, Eastern, Pacific? What exactly is the time zone? Awesome. Gotcha, bro. So I have his calendar open right now. So when works for you? Is it 2 o'clock Pacific or 8 o'clock Pacific a better time to book in to speak with him, right? Just an example there, okay? You want to relay it in the prospect's time zone, okay? And you want to ask them, okay, or you want to give them a time that is first the same day, okay, or the next day, right? So if it's in the morning, okay, you can give them the same day. If it's later in the day, you can give them the next day, right? So, and you want to make sure your prospect's not just telling them like, hey, so like when are you free, man? Because that just puts the onus on the prospect and that gets you nowhere. And worst case, right, they might book 3, 4, 5 days out, okay, which we definitely don't want, right? So you want to give them 2 days, okay, today or tomorrow. And after that, if it's today, you want to give them 2 or 3 time options. And if it's tomorrow, you want to give them 3 options, right? So morning, afternoon, and night. Really, if it's today, you give them 2 options. If it's the next day, okay, you give them an option in the morning, an option in the afternoon, or an option at night, right? So you can ask them, okay, sweet. So are you good for 10 a.m. tomorrow, 3 p.m. tomorrow, or 7 p.m. tomorrow, right? Make it spread out in terms of when they can book, right? And then just have your triager there essentially work with them to find the proper call with them, right? And then, okay, once you found the time, then you want to say something like, awesome, man. So also, Cheyenne just has me fill in a short application just so we can prepare for the call and also help you as much as possible. I'll just hit you with one question after the other. Is that cool? Right? And then you're asking them different questions. And these questions are essentially your calendar questions, right? So on your calendar, you should have a bunch of like qualifying questions. And you want to make sure that if your triager's already gotten the answer to some of them from the discovery phase of the setting call, then you just simply want to reaffirm their answer, right? You don't want to piss them off by, let's say one of the questions is, how much are you currently making per month, right? You don't want your triager asking, okay, well, how much are you making per month, man? When they have already told them 2 times, it's going to piss them off, right? So you just want to reaffirm. So something like, awesome, and you mentioned before that you're making 25K a month, is that correct? Right? Don't ask the same question if they've already answered, if you're not going to reaffirm it, right? And the last thing, okay, once they're booked on, once you filled out whatever information that you need from them, okay, then you want to have a strong last impression, right? So something like, awesome, man. Did my calendar invite come through? Awesome. And would you just mind accepting that now? Because if you don't, it can sometimes get removed off of a closer's calendar. Awesome, sweet, man. Locked it in. Okay, sick, man. So typically before these meets, what we'll do is we'll send you a complete breakdown of our strategy just so you're familiar with how we operate. And also some of our past client case studies so we have the same level of understanding. If I send that your way, will you be able to watch and review that before you speak with us on Wednesday? Yeah, for sure. Perfect. And you're going to see some meeting confirmation texts and emails come prior to our call. So if you need to reschedule or cancel, man, I totally understand, right? Things come up, we're both business owners here, right? Our time's valuable. So is yours. Okay, so please, if something comes up, would you just mind letting me know before our call so we can accommodate? Awesome, man. Love it. Okay, sick. Well, that's all I've got, James. It was nice speaking to you. Keep me posted on how things go, all right? All right, you have a good one, man. And then end the call, right? Very, very simple. Okay, this leaving a strong impression is extremely, extremely important. This is critical for show rates, right? You want to make sure that the calendar invite actually went through, right? You want to make sure that they've actually accepted it, okay? And you essentially want them to tell you that they're going to watch all of the sales assets that you're going to send them in the meantime, right? And that's very important, okay? I'll go over this in a different video, but you want nurturing sequences there, essentially, okay? Sending them different client case studies, right? Breaking down some of your internal processes, right? I'll actually link a video up here where I talk about some of my internal processes. Go ahead and watch that video if you want to see what I actually do after they're booked on to actually increase my close rate. But it's getting them to agree to actually watch those videos. It's getting them to agree to actually consume the knowledge that you're going to give them, right? Because an uneducated prospect is never a buyer, right? Never, never a buyer, okay? However, if they are educated, again, the inverse is also true. If they're educated, if they know you, if they have seen some of your client case studies, if they know how your process works, the closing call is not going to be informing them on your product or service. It's simply going to be collecting their card information, right? And then you can see here at the end, right, once you've essentially also confirmed with them that like, hey man, look, you need to reschedule, we get it. Just let me know beforehand, right? Once you've done that, okay, you want to end very abruptly. Very, very abruptly, okay? And the reason I've put any other questions or thoughts while you have me and I've crossed it out is because a lot of triagers ask this, and it's actually like it's a detriment to your success, right? You do not want to ask them what questions or thoughts that they have. Because essentially what you're asking them when you do that is, hey man, do you have any other objections I need to handle? That's what they're essentially asking, right? Once you've gotten the book on, okay, you want to end the call as soon as possible, right? You want to be very succinct. You want to give them some next steps. You want to give them some information, and then you want to get off the call, right? You don't want to ask them, hey, are there any other concerns or anything that's stopping you from actually showing up on the call and actually having a conversation with us? You don't want that, right? So you just want to be very succinct with the end, right? All right, well, that's all I've got, man. Nice speaking to you. Keep me posted on how things go, all right? All right, you have a good one. So this is the setting script and really the sales system that my team uses to get me 2 to 3 qualified sales calls on my calendar per day, right? Again, right, if you can really dial in the setting system and you're able to actually take these leads that are in the war zone, right, and actually get a lot of them booked on, okay, you're going to increase your DPL, right? You're going to make your leads a lot more efficient, okay? You're going to increase the amount of offers you're making. And if your triagers are doing it the right way, you're actually going to pre-sell prospects as well because they're already having a positive interactions with someone from your company before they even get on the sales calendar, before they even get on the sales call, right? That's the power of having a really powerful setting system, right? The simple add straight to VSL, the straight to call booking funnel, it doesn't work that great anymore, right? You actually need to get their information from an opt-in page, from a squeeze page, right? And have setters that are talking to them, figuring out what issues they have, and actually educating them a little bit about your prospect before they even see the VSL, right? Or while they're watching the VSL, right? That's the power of having a setting system. You'll be able to get a calendar like this with just $75 a day in ad spend, right? That's what I was doing. $75 a day in ads, okay? So if you want access to this document and my entire script, I'll just give it to you. Comment the word sales in the comment section below and I'll send this document over to you. But if you're wondering and you still have some questions on how exactly you can figure out how to launch the ads, how you can manage to scale the ads, right? How you can actually create your VSL and your sales assets, how you can find, hire, and train the appointment setters, and how you can optimize your calendar and sales process to handle all of these qualified leads, okay, or you're just curious on how you can implement this system for yourself, to your own unique business, to your own unique niche, right? And you want to take me up on my offer of me adding an additional 50K in new revenue to your business in the next 90 days, as long as you meet our pre-qualifiers, then what you can do is you can click the first link in the description and we can hop on a call, right? I'm not going to delegate it to my closer. I'll actually have a talk with you. Just put there that you're from YouTube on the calendar booking page, and I'll have a talk with you myself, right? This is our offer, right? It's truly, truly no risk. And the reason, full transparency, the reason I'm able to guarantee such a result, right, is because we really go into your business and we solve every bottleneck, right? So we're going to create a super, super strong offer for you that you're able to charge 6 to 8 grand for, right? We're going to help drive attention to that offer, okay, through appointment setting teams, through advertising, right, through a bunch of different avenues. And then we're going to give you a sales process, closers, setters, triagers, right, and a sales infrastructure on the back end as well. That's making sure those leads that you've got, okay, are actually qualified, educated, and primed, right, and pre-sold before the sales call as well, right? So if you want to take me up on my offer for that, click the first link in the description and book in the call. If not, you guys can implement the system for yourself. I don't mind. Just let me know if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more value, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.